All right, welcome back to Scary Signs, a place for, well, scary signs, as the name would suggest. We've been here once before. I thought we'd return and get more scared by signs, starting off with the scary door. It has a lot of scary signs on it. Oh my God. Do not enter, CO2 discharge, danger, hydrogen gas leak, danger, high voltage, restricted area, PPE must be warned. Hazardous gas area. All other hazards must be identified upon entry. PPE required. Flammable gas area. Oh my God. Just in case you didn't realize, probably be careful before you enter this room because it's not going to go very well for you if you're not in proper. So you have to put on hearing protection and then put on PPE and just look like, you just look like a walking, I don't want to say the word because it's inappropriate and will get me demonetized, but you look like a walking pleasure device. Okie dokie. Anyway, a river in Pennsylvania. Danger, when siren sounds, beware of rapid rise in water level. So you're just standing on the bank and then a siren goes off and you can just all of a sudden be underwater. How would that even happen? Wouldn't you be aware that, oh, it's raining really hard, so maybe I shouldn't be here in the first place? This comment says, used to work on hydroelectric plants. Incredible how often people ignore these warnings. Oh, okay, so there's some sort of man-made facility that occasionally just dumps large amounts of water out, and it'll just flood you. Okay, seems very safe to allow people to, like, walk in that vicinity. This is outside the hotel I'm in right now. Fallout shelter in basement. That's not scary. I mean, you're getting scared at like the nuclear symbol on the sign, but wouldn't that be good? That's like a safe sign. Hey, just in case of emergency, actually there's a thing here that will protect you. I feel like most of the scary signs on the subreddit are like, hey, if you go any further here, bad things will happen to you. This, on the other hand, is if bad things are possibly going to happen to you, go further and you might be okay. Granted, any old fallout shelter is not really going to protect you against modern day nuclear warheads at this point. You're just kind of out of luck, but maybe in the past it would have made a difference. Or for something that's not actually a nuclear warhead, it could still probably be good protection, potentially. Or it could just be your tomb. Either way, nice place to sit. It's just like really elegant placement. It had to have been done on purpose. I wonder if the bench came first and then something happened. Some poor sap sitting on the bench. It was like this fluke accident that you never have expected. And just a random rock came tumbling down and then someone had to put the sign there so that the city couldn't get sued after the fact. Because, you know, if you're sitting on a city bench, you expect a reasonable amount of safety, I would imagine. And I'm sure there was a settlement that got paid out of that. And then the city was like, well, if we put a warning sign here that says you might have rocks fall on top of you if you sit on this bench, then we can't be held liable. So much cheaper to put the sign in than keep paying out settlements. No emergencies here, please. Emergency phone is out of service. Please do not have an emergency at this location. God damn it, I was really looking to have an emergency today. I guess I'm gonna have to go somewhere else. It's so difficult to have emergencies these days. There's all this red tape around them. God dang it. Dude, this sucks. Just ruined all of my plans for the rest of the day. Having this phone out of service here. God, I just really wanted an emergency. It was gonna make for a good piece of dramatic YouTube content. All right, I needed to have drama in my vlog so I could get clicks. And now this phone's not working, it's ruined that, and I can't even do my livelihood. A little bit of history for scary signs. Achtung, isn't that, it's danger or attention? What is Todescafar? I don't know what Todescafar is, but that looks like a shell that has just gone through a tree. I'm assuming that means like, danger, this thing has not detonated, and it could if you touch it, so don't do that. Beware, beware death. Thank you. Kind comment for translating. All right, beware, unexploded shell. I bet the person who put that sign up was not entirely thrilled at their job because they're like, I have to get way too close to this thing that I'm putting a sign up to warn people that if they get close to it, death can happen. But I have to get very close to it to warn them about it. I don't like this. I'm not getting paid enough to stand within 6 inches of this thing that could just obliterate me at any moment. Can we not, though? And this was long before there were any, like, robots to tend to this sort of stuff. Not the usual fare, but I'm definitely spooked. Not vaccinating your kids leaves them vulnerable to disease their whole lives. When your daughter gets rubella when pregnant, how are you going to explain that you chose to leave her at risk? What will you say when she calls you and tells you she has cervical cancer because you decided that she wouldn't need HPV vaccine? What do you tell your son when he breaks the news to you that he cannot have kids thanks to the mumps he got as a teenager? What do you say when he gives influenza to his grandma? How do you explain that she won't be coming home from the hospital? Not ever. Do you tell them that you didn't think these diseases were that serious? That you thought that your organic, home-cooked food was enough to protect them? Do you say sorry? It's a stern, solemn warning, I assume mounted in either a school or a doctor's office. But yeah, valid things to think about. Although you're hitting me with the fourth line there because I don't ever get flu shots. Yeah, I don't do flu shots, and it's primarily because I have to get a shot for that. And I don't like those. Is that bad? I've never heard that you're endangering other people if you don't get a flu shot. I've never heard it put that way. Usually it's more in regards to diseases that are really more serious than the flu. But that's a truly scary sign. Or one that is just a solemn sign. One that makes you be like, yeah, probably get vaccinated. Probably a good idea, other than the flu. Finally, I've waited my whole life for this moment. Danger. Quicksand. I didn't know it was real. You hear about it in movies. You see people trying to escape from it in cartoons, but you never think that it exists anywhere. You're like, this can't actually be a real thing. There's no quicksand anywhere in the real. Oh, wow, really? Or someone just, it's mud. And someone was like, you know what? I want to say that quicksand exists somewhere. Is quicksand really that dangerous though? I haven't really looked into it since I was a kid and saw that you actually just drown in it and there's no escape. But isn't there, I assume there's a method if you can like flatten yourself out probably and then like do a little belly rub across the surface of it. Does that work? What's the best way to do it? I don't know. I hope I never end up in quicksand. We're doomed. Fruit stall ahead. Caution. Caution, the fruit is infected with parasites, but they are still selling it anyway, so just be cautious. I realize this is probably to warn drivers that, hey, please don't hit the people manning the fruit stand or the fruit stand as a whole because it's ahead. It must be a very permanent fruit stand installation. They've been there as a family business for many years, and hopefully that sign isn't as a result of something terrible having happened in the past. Hopefully it's just like, you know what? We've had more close calls recently. Can we put this sign up? Cool. Don't want to get hit. Dolly Sods WV. Warning. Highly explosive live bombs from WW2 World War II training can still be found in this area. Don't touch them. Learn and follow the 3 R's. Recognize, see pictures. Retreat. Go back the way you came. Report. If you did not drop it, do not pick it up. Oh, well, shoot. What am I going to do with all these grenades I was carrying and planning on dropping? I guess I can pick those back up. Just not the ones that are, that I didn't bring with me. So just got to be sure that I take a good look at these particular grenades that I have and just make sure I don't get them mixed up with the other ones that are on the ground. So sometimes you just get your grenades all confused with each other. It's a common problem. You wouldn't think about it, but it's a thing. Whee! Uh-oh. Did we just stumble into like a Happy Wheels amusement park or something? Just a very specific scenario going on here. Like if you're not in a wheelchair, you don't have to worry about the crocodiles. But specifically though, if you are in a wheelchair, you may end up careening down the hill into the mouth of a crocodile. It's like this bizarre Rube Goldberg machine that we have set up that only happens under very, very specific circumstances. But if you fit these, you might want to just be aware. Don't be one of them. Attention, Mount Ida hikers. The hike from here to the summit of Mount Ida is 3.5 miles of exposed tundra without a maintained trail and few reference points. You will need to pay strict attention to weather and terrain. Beyond this point, you are entering an alpine environment with no protection from the weather. If skies are overcast at this point, you should consider turning around. Lightning is deadly. Okay. The hike from here, etc. Map and compass and a strong sense of direction are important. Hikers have been lost in an attempt to return. Don't be one of them. Okay. Well, good thing I hadn't heard of Mount Ida and I wasn't planning on hiking to the top. The area around the sign looks remarkably innocuous right now, but maybe it just gets wild in the winter. I mean, there are probably a lot of signs posted like this in various mountain areas. Beware. This sign that my school district sends out in case of school shootings. Run, escape if possible, hide if escape is not possible, fight only as a last resort. It's weird because that never was an email that ever got sent out when I was in school, and I wasn't in school all that long ago. I'm curious, is this like a common thing, at least in the US, for schools to send out, I don't know, emails, information about this sort of stuff? Because it's weird that it's at that point. There was actually, back when I was in elementary school, at the other elementary school in my area, they did have, it wasn't a shooter, but they did have someone who was running from police run onto the school campus. I don't believe they were armed, but it's like the only time that I had ever heard of there being an actual lockdown at a school like in my area. That was considered like pretty wild, even at that point. So, whew. This sign outside a panther enclosure. Do not climb over the wall and try to pet us. We'll drag you through this tiny mesh wire and eat you. I'm picturing that scene from Resident Evil with the lasers right now. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, I almost encourage people to look away because it's an unpleasant scene. But that's what I'm picturing here. Also, like, why would you ever want to get that close to where there are openings between you and, you know, panthers or lions or tigers or anything that can just destroy you in a split second? Not into it. I acknowledge when I am outclassed, and I am outclassed by big cats. I'm not going to survive that. They're going to knock my head off with a single swipe of their paw, and that's fine. I respect the power, and I don't want to be near it. Nope, nope, nope. Beware of falling snakes. I'm out. I'm out. Why? Why is that a sign anywhere? There's nothing you can do. That's a sign. You've already gone too far. By being here to where you can read this sign, it's like already a problem that you need to avoid. It's not that past this point there could be it's like, no, what? Why was I warned about this like miles before? Where they come from, nobody knows. It's still one of science's greatest mysteries. Some say that they get whipped up by tornadoes. Others say that birds just pick them up and then drop them just to troll people walking on the ground. But whatever the scientific unknown explanation, snakes just fall here, and you don't want to be under it. They're rattlesnakes. It's not fun. You just hear this Doppler effect rattle coming closer and closer and closer until suddenly you are bitten. It lands face first, fangs out, ready to rock and roll. You got both the impact of the snake itself falling at terminal velocity, and then it just at that terminal velocity, the fangs hit you. It's bad news all around. Just leave this place. It's like a horror movie. Snake NATO. My relaxing road trip from Darwin to Melbourne. Caution, buffalo in the area. Caution, heat illness. Animal safety issues. Warning, danger, abandoned mine site. Nuclear stuff. Beware, snake sighted. Cliff safety warning. Crocodile safety warning. Water safe. Danger. Unmarked holes. You might just fall into a hole and die. I'm so getting demonetized on this video. Wow. Australia really is trying to kill you, isn't it? It's not an exaggeration. Beware, if you go to Australia, nothing is supposed to actually exist here. It's all just the land trying to get rid of you. Okay, it's a sign. All right, well, hell of a road trip. I hope you survived. Beware of falling deer. Beware of falling deer. Leopards conceal their unfinished food in the tops of trees. At least we get an explanation here, as opposed to the falling snakes, where it's just like, so where and how does that happen? Wow. The leopards, they're like, I'm done with this. I'll just let it fall down on top of someone. Also, isn't this the actress from Orange is the New Black? Because I'm pretty sure it is. She's making a cameo on Scary Signs. Here we go. Death Valley, California, currently 121 degrees Fahrenheit. Why you would want to go there over the summer, I really don't know. Stop. Extreme heat danger. Walking after 10 a.m. not recommended, including what looks to be a whole bunch of translations. And the top comment is, yeah, just don't visit Death Valley in the summer. I don't know why you'd want to go there. You know what you're getting into. It's in the name, Death Valley. Why would you want to be like, you know what I'm feeling like today? I'm just feeling like seeing how hot it gets in places. Like, no, that's not comfortable. I bet you're going to get there and it's just going to be like, well, this is barren and I'm uncomfortable. I'm telling you how it's going to go. There you go. I've saved you the trip to Death Valley in the summer. And look, you can see it's quite barren in the behind the sign there. So if you really want to see the landscape, maybe go when it's not summer would be my advice. I've never been. I've driven kind of on the way to Mammoth. You're kind of on the way to it. So, but otherwise I wasn't really inclined to take that detour ever. And I'm sure there's cool stuff to see. And also you're technically like at the lowest point on Earth above water. I think it's like negative 100 something foot elevation. It's either in the US, I don't know if it's the world, but like the lowest on land elevation. So I guess that's cool to say you've been there, but also you want to make it out alive. Anyway, that's it for the last month of Scary Signs. I hope you've enjoyed. Make sure to like if you like, check out the playlist in the description. If you want to catch more Reddit videos, subscribe if you're not already. And if you want to listen to music playing in the background, link is in the outro over on Marin Music. I'll see you next time.